what's fun to do?
Not Angel Stadium.
You know
it's
what
like 30 feet. I'm going to kill a kid if I drop it.
No, you hold it out, and then like let the crowd gather beneath you, and then you drop it and let them fight.
You really don't have joy in your life.
Hello and welcome back to Dodgers Debate. I'm Jack Harris, the LA Times Dodger beat writer, along with our October hungry columnists, Bill Plaschke and Dylan Hernandez.
Can't wait.
I don't remember where you guys have landed on the flip-flopping, if the Dodgers are going to win the World Series or not. But I do feel confident about them probably winning the division at this point after what was a wild week, but that ended with them winning 4 straight games.
Yeah, but it almost feels meaningless. If they don't get a bye, they're playing 3 games at Dodger Stadium against maybe the Mets, and anything can happen. I just think...
have you seen how the Mets are playing lately?
They're playing awful. The fact the Giants may catch them. But it is a division championship. It feels bittersweet. If they don't get a bye, it feels bittersweet.
Bittersweet's been the thing, right? It just feels underwhelming. The whole year, right? If you think about the excitement that we had here on this couch in the first week of the season where I said they would win 120 games, and Plaschke who says they can't win 162
and then win 103.
Yeah. Right, and it just kind of feels
lucky to win 93 now.
You keep trying to turn the car, right, the ignition, right, the key in the ignition, and it just kind of, car won't start. And even if it does, it just like dies quickly. That's kind of the feel, right? It's very kind of stop and go here.
Now, they do get 3 games at home against the Phillies. I think they're 5 back coming into today.
4 back. Anything can happen. That's the thing here, right? Is that you can't, while I am not going to look at this team and be like, I'm going to wager everything on them winning the World Series. You can't count them out either.
Well, and that's why at this stage, look, not getting the first round bye will be tougher, especially because, that's like one bullpen blow up and one bad game from the lineup, and then suddenly the season could be over, and both those things seem very possible of happening. I do think that just as it comes down to the last couple weeks of the season, though, I wouldn't worry about that wild card round as much as long as the team is playing well going into it. So if you have the rotation doing what it did this week with 3 different no-hit bids, a 1.18 ERA from over the last 6 games.
Well, the problem is they're not going to be playing the Rockies.
Yeah, I know. Terrible team.
But the Rockies are so bad.
But they pitched really well, right?
Yeah, I guess the Rockies.
Even suck. Opponent aside.
No, you can't say opponent aside. The Rockies are so bad.
But here's my point.
I went into
the Orioles are terrible.
So I get there on Monday, right? I always get to the ballpark pretty early. And I see Eric Carroll sitting there, and he tells me this really nice story about how he drove his son to the ballpark, and I was like, this is a cool little thing. And then you see the team play, and they are just so bad.
That's why if they continue to do this and play well over the next couple weeks, even if they,
they don't get to play the Rockies.
They
every
might
day.
not, but if they can, if you can go to San Francisco and
that means they're playing better.
But that's my point. Is the first round bye to me at this stage matters less than if they can, even if they don't get it. But if they play well over these final couple weeks, I think it absolves, not in the big picture, kind of the underwhelmingness and disappointment of the whole year, but even if they don't get that bye, if they get to the end of the season, turning, the way they played this week against these 2 bad teams, a week that still included their worst loss of the season.
If they take no-hitters into the second half of the game every game, I like their chances then, Jack.
If they continue to pitch well, play well, put together better at-bats, which I think we've seen, again, considering the opponent. But this week, and that's kind of the question moving forward, the way they look this week is kind of a template that they have to follow, or at least over the last 4 games. First 2 in Baltimore. Our last
the worst loss in 30 years
was recorded before those. That was.
Can you imagine the pressure on them if they had to go into a 3-game bye series? Wild card series against anybody. The pressure on them if they lose one of those games, it's going to be enormous. The pressure.
Well, and that's why they got it. They have to get there playing well, and if they do, right, if you get there and you feel really good about where Yamamoto's at and where Blake Snell is at and where. Whether it's Ohtani or Glasnow or however you're going to play.
Great.
Yeah, if Mookie's still hot, if Freddie Freeman, can kind of get on a little bit more of a roll again, if Teoscar Hernandez is playing well, suddenly that doesn't seem so daunting. And that's kind of how I've looked at this now is, if they got to play this best of three, but they get it at home, and the way they played this week continues against better opponents, suddenly I don't think it's as daunting. Versus, if they go to San Francisco and struggle and get beat up by the Phillies, it's like then it's going to be really hard to believe that they can, even in a 3-game sample, let alone a month-long sample in October, play well. Because again, this is the question to me now. Great. You overcame this terrible loss or this terrible 5-game losing streak that had this really terrible loss on Saturday in Baltimore.
I think you're too quick
you
to
started
say they
winning
overcame
games.
this.
Yeah.
No.
Devin,
I'm not saying they overcame it. I'm saying we've seen them go on these little spurts before, right? And at least right now you have some hope.
You don't think that this is just kind of who they are, though?
Well,
I know
and
a
that's
few
what we'll
weeks
find
ago,
out.
right? A couple of weeks ago, I kind of posed this question, right? I think after the San Diego series in San Diego, right? They lost the first two. Is this who they are? Like this team that just kind of sucks, or the team that showed up in the Sunday game of that series that's really good? And the answer might be that they're both, right? That they're going to have games like this and games like this, and right, you just kind of hope that you have more good ones than bad ones. But nothing has told me that they're kind of one or the other, right? And frankly, that's what separates great teams or very good teams from kind of And frankly, I mean, the one good thing is that I'm looking around baseball and everybody kind of seems to fall in the stage, and so I don't think their chances are any worse than anybody else's. I do think that when we talk kind of about pressure and stuff, right? I mean, I was thinking about this just because the NFL season started, and right in most markets, NFL is king and everything, and right, if any little thing were to be going wrong, it'd be this huge deal.
I watched Bills Ravens from
Right,
Baltimore.
but there's a
bar
certain
this
when you're around the LA teams, so, right? When you're around the Chargers, when you're around the Rams, there's a certain looseness there that comes from just having nobody caring. But the flip side of that is I do think the Dodgers, right? This is a team that the market really cares about. Every day there's pressure, right? Right? In San Francisco with the Niners, they just had to, right? They let go of their kicker. That was a big story over there. He's basically Tanner Scott right? And the fact that the fans are booing Tanner Scott, everybody knows, this is the guy that lost that game the other day. This is the guy that's been bad all year. The plus side of this is they've been living in this bubble the whole time, and they've never broken. Right now, you can say it's been a problem because they haven't gone on one of these great runs. But the flip side of that is at no point have they just let go and we're going to stop fighting.
There is no joy, and is there anything in this team that makes you think they can win a championship? Is there anything in this team right now that makes you think they can win a championship?
And they have
Sure.
Ohtani.
Yeah, they have
Yeah,
great
okay.
starting pitching. Okay, to nail down on something more specifically about the point you're making, I look at the offense, right? If you talk to the guys around the team about why the offense has been so bad for the last 2 months and what they're trying to do to fix it, why it's been bad is just because guys have you've had this unusual year in which a larger amount of guys than you would expect have either been hurt, have either been battling their swing over an extended portion of the year.
Yeah. Next month's the bobblehead hero,
Hurt there.
but he's back now.
He is. But
now.
So you have this, this offense that was supposed to just be dominant all year. Instead, it's missing guys like him. Mookie Betts wasn't himself until the last month. Freddie Freeman's up and down. Teoscar Hernandez has been bad since injury. Tommy Edmonds been out injured. Andy Pages up and down. You can go on and on and on. And suddenly it makes all of these little moments in a lot of these games a lot more magnified. Going back to the game in Pittsburgh last week where they couldn't cash in with the bases loaded. First night in Baltimore, which I think was one of their – if Saturday was their worst loss, that first night in Baltimore might have been one of their just worst performances of the year. And one of the things they've done – in the days since then is really recommit to being okay, we're either going to hit, guys are going to hit or they're not going to hit, but we have to make sure that when we have opportunities to move runners, to drive in runs, to build an inning, to take a team at bat, this has been the buzzword, team at bats, that we are executing in those situations. Because regardless of how guys are going in October, that's how you win playoff games, right? You have to be able to execute in those little moments in the postseason. Which, if you look at the Dodgers, 22, 23, they didn't do that in the playoffs. They get knocked out early. Last year, it was a lot better. They go on a deep run. They win the title. So in the last couple days, this has become the focus, is how can we understand, like Freddie Freeman was saying, look, every game for us from here on out is like a playoff game, and we have to treat all of the at-bats, all of the situations offensively in that way. And that's why, yes, I know it came against the Rockies and one game against the Orioles. But when I look at the at-bats over these last couple days, they are like, you can face whoever. If you're in a leverage at-bat and you get a slider out of the zone, you can either swing at it or you don't, right? Like, that's a situation you're going to face kind of regardless. And they've been better in those situations. You have Teoscar Hernandez. He hits 2 home runs the other night, the second game against the Rockies. I thought the best at-bat he took was when he stayed alive in a 2-strike count and eventually worked a wild pitch that scored the first run of the game.
Why is he still in right field?
I'm not certain that will be permanent. Dave Roberts has left the door open for eventually switching him and Pages. But he said right now, like, Teoscar's defense has been, his words, very good since the debacle in Colorado. So we'll see. I think if there's any slippage, that's when you'll probably see the flip. But you're combining these little things with the fact that they are getting healthier, right? You do have Max Muncy back. You have Tommy Edman back playing center field, which is now allowing them to play Michael Conforto less and maybe get the defense lined up eventually with Pages in right field and Teo in left. Will Smith is still dealing with this hand thing, but once he's back, they haven't had a lineup with Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, Smith, Muncy, Edman, Teoscar since late June. The fact that as these guys have come back and as behind the scenes they've put a little more emphasis on these little things and that they did turn around and have these kind of performances, opponent aside, that's why I kind of look at this and I say, okay, this feels like something tangible if you can kind of continue it against better teams. And that's why I'm curious to see how these next couple weeks go. And if they go well, then I'll feel a lot better about them going into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think the Phillies series is everything.
It'll be a great test.
I think you'll see where they're at mentally, where they're at spiritually, where they're at emotionally. It's all, that's huge.
I'm not too alarmed about the lack of joy stuff, right? Just because, look, you score runs, you win games.
Because you live your life with a lack of joy.
Lack of joy in your life.
Right? Because if you score, you win. Right? I think it's kind of more a reflection of their success or lack thereof. To me, I'm kind of looking more at this bullpen thing and how is this thing going to get fixed, right? Because again, I think the starting pitching, we've been saying this for a while, right? The starting pitching, I can see it working. The lineup, I've said for a while, you got all the guys back. I can see it working. I don't know how this bullpen thing works, right? And at what point, they brought in, again, they Tanner Scott to kind of protect Glasnow's no-hit bid, and he blew that one. At what point does it become more like, okay, when everybody's kind of healthy, we're going to go to Jack Dreyer in that situation. We're going to go to Robleski.
I don't think they'll ever go to the.
I agree.
The young arms.
Okay, so they're gonna live and die on the Tanner Scott, Kirby Yates,
the big money guys.
I think the way this, I don't think it's going to. I think of the group of Tanner Scott, Blake Trinan, Michael Kopech, Kirby Yates. They're just crossing their fingers and sending up their manifesting that one of those guys figures it out.
It's a tough way to live.
It is because but if one of them does, you have Alex Vezina, who you can trust, I think. You're going to probably kick Emmett Sheehan down there in the playoffs. You're going to probably have, Edgardo Enriquez will be around. You're going to.
You like him?
You're talking about Jack Dreyer and Justin Robleski. I would throw.
I like Robleski. I'm not sure about Dreyer.
All right, Jerry Harrison on TV in a panic on Saturday night yelled that Shohei should close games. Is that more a possibility this year?
I think now Dave Roberts has left the door open for this, although he said they haven't really seriously considered it. I think for one, it's hard to he's been so good as a starter that it's hard to remove him from the starting equation. You guys, I don't know, Tyler Glasnow has thrown 2 no-hit bids in his last 2 outings, but do you trust him enough now to where you'd feel comfortable removing Ohtani from the rotation?
He had to be pulled out of the rotation.
Right. an interesting couple weeks for Tyler Glasnow. But at least he pitched well. But yeah, I mean, his value as a starter is too high. I think really the only time it would work, because the other part of this is like if you use him as a reliever, the way the two-way rule is written, if he goes into the game as a reliever and then you remove him, say if he blows a save or something and a game goes into extras, he's out of the game as a DH too, and you lose the DH entirely.
Oh, really?
So I think the only way I would see that happening is if it's a close out the series kind of situation, or a closeout, like if you really don't have any other options in the ninth.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, like the bullpen is the great wild card here, and
Although the bullpen going into last year's postseason wasn't very good.
that's something that Mark Pryor talked about this week. He pointed to Blake Trinan specifically. He was like, last year, he was kind of up and down. He had this hip injury. We had to put him on the IL for a couple weeks, but then he came back. He was good. Tanner Scott, if you talk to people around the team about Tanner Scott, they will point out that his velocity is up lately. Like he is throwing like 99 now. That the slider is being executed better. And that really, Dylan's getting ready to laugh. Their words, not mine. But that like really like
You just sit there listening to this crap?
Well, look, and Dave Roberts made a good point because like he was asked after the Saturday game at Baltimore, like, are you snake bitten? And he's like, no, we're not executing, right? And the problem with Tanner Scott is that the few times, because it has been like overall, I do think his stuff has looked better. It's just that like you look at the walk-off home run he gave up the first game in Baltimore. It's like a 1-2 count, and he pipes a fastball. It's like you can't do that. He's talking about baseball hates me that night. And it's like
talk about a white flag, man.
Right?
That is
it's
not
like
a good place.
It's like
It's not the only thing that hates him right now.
And the thing too, man, it's like it's not a good place to be when like, you're pointing to like bad performance as evidence for why things are going to work out. It's like, well, we were crap last year too, and it worked out. That's not a place where you want to be.
But
that's like a type of thing that happens like once every 20 years, man. Like,
but there's at least like a framework for like, okay, maybe if he just like,
you know what that's like? That's like if I were to win the lottery, and then I'd be like, I won the lottery last week. The odds were against me, but I won.
Well, maybe.
I
mean, I don't think the
this
odds
is like
are quite that.
Such like a ridiculous.
I don't think the odds are quite.
Tanner Scott's a $1 billion odd to get.
Yeah. I mean, but I would look at it this way: like if he had closed out that Friday game, I know he gave up the hit the next night, but he was okay. Like the
he was a rocket.
Yeah, but it also probably should have been caught. Like Alex Call didn't take a very good route, and then he got out of it, right? Like so that's a score. It's honestly like if he doesn't just leave one fastball down the middle to a rookie catcher, then suddenly we're probably coming into this like, well, Tanner Scott's put together a few good outings.
No, I wouldn't.
Okay. Well, but that's the place they're at, unless you want to bring Dylan's guy Roki Sasaki back.
Oh no, I thought we're not including him in this.
What are you talking? He had like 101.
I know, but do you trust him in pressure situations?
No, but I don't trust a lot of these guys in pressure situations.
So what's going to happen with him?
He was flying back to LA this week to have a conversation with club officials about what will be next.
Well, this is going to
I assume we'll see. He'll probably get a crack at some sort of at some point in a big league game, just to see how it looks there. And then
they could not throw him out of the bullpen. He's not used to it.
Well, and I think there's a
can't do
lot
that.
of hurdles they would have to clear.
Well, this is the thing, right? I mean, let's just kind of say it the way it is. He did have like a reputation of being kind of a diva in Japan, right? Will he, right? And in Japan, there is like a huge difference in like prestige between starting and relieving, right? Guys do not want to go to the pen, right? When Kenta Maeda, and as good as Kenta Maeda was, right? And Kenta Maeda almost became like a hero of sorts, right? Moving to the pen and being as good as he was. He was not happy with that, right? He could not have been happy with that. And so I think that's kind of a thing here. But like, hey, look, like if the guy's willing to do it, if he's open to doing it, which I think they kind of have something to kind of lean on him, right? I mean, they basically didn't sign any international prospects for like 2 years to try to get this guy, right? I mean, they committed a lot to him, right? More than whatever they wound up giving him for like a bonus, right? They've committed more than that. if they can kind of exercise pressure smartly, I think you can guilt them into going into the pen, and then why not? Because I mean, seriously, at this point, you need something. I mean, we're talking about. I mean, the fact that like Otani to the closing is even like being talked about right now shows like the level of desperation right now that they have with this pen. And look, like ideally you would have taken care of this at the trade deadline. I don't know what happened there. Obviously they didn't. They didn't do that. But at this point,
Brock Stewart is trying to come back.
Everybody's talking about there's not enough time to put this kid in the pen. There's not
why?
enough time.
I mean, what like it's better than running. I mean, you want Tanner Scott?
I'd almost take him ahead of this inexperienced kid who we have no idea.
Let me ask,
What you gonna get?
because you just compared Tanner Scott to a literal lottery ticket.
Yeah, he did.
Right.
You think that this Roki situation?
No, it's
is
also
any-
a lottery ticket. But I mean, I think you kind of play all the lottery tickets right now. I mean, you have
correct.
I mean, it's not like the playoffs are starting tomorrow, right? You do have like a few weeks here. The Padres clearly don't want this, right? Or they can't, or they're choking, or whatever it is, right? The loserness in
really
the,
bad there. Injuries,
yeah,
bad play.
Whatever. Their loser marine layer is all infecting them, or whatever's going on there.
Man, Machado is the loser.
Yeah, whatever it is. I think you have some wiggle room here, at least maybe after the Phillies series early next week, right? I mean, because that's going to tell you if you're going to have a shot at a top 2 seed
Right.
or not. Once you get through there, and if you're out of it, I am trying everything at that point, right? I am, I mean, who do you even trust? I mean,
I think they got to go all out to get that bye. I think they have to play to the end.
But if it looks like, I mean, they're 4 out right now. Let's just say they get swept and they're 7 out at that point.
Okay,
like, right?
But if they're even close, they got to play for it. That bye's that important.
Yeah, but I think even then, like, I mean, it's the 9th inning. Like, you really like Tanner Scott there?
I like a guy who's done it before.
This is why at least
He was
for
great
the next
last year.
couple weeks,
Baseball doesn't like him. He feels like it's one thing.
it hates him.
It's one thing for like us to be talking about, a guy's like cursed or whatever. There's a black cloud hanging over him.
But
It's another thing. I mean, this would be. You know what this would be like? This would be like if the Chargers would just be like, yeah, you know what, our franchise is cursed, and they're saying this like before games. Like, I mean, no, like you wouldn't give that team a chance. Like, I just don't like where he is mentally. There's nothing. I mean, he just hasn't. Again, I think. I mean, if anything, I know he's been hit by lefties too, but I mean, with him, you almost ideally just kind of like, well, put him back in a type of role that got him this contract, which is, right when the other team's equivalent of Otani and Freddie Freeman come up, that's the guy you throw.
He's going to keep getting opportunities at least for a little while longer.
Yeah.
Because if he shows he could have maybe just back-to-back good-looking outings, and that going into the playoffs, and that might be enough for them to
God,
say
$72 million.
we're going to ride with
Oh
it.
my God.
It's tough.
I mean, we were talking
And-
about
and
Plaschke
that
and I've been
is-
talking about is like Kawhi Leonard's like the worst like contract.
That's not
Kawhi Leonard at least like is good when he plays.
Kawhi Leonard. I'm going to write this as the worst free agent signing in LA sports history.
And then I'm going to write the next day. No,
The
it's
over the table?
It's Tanner Scott.
The on-the-table signing or the under-the-table signing?
Every table signing. To me, the bottom line is last year, I think any of us would have been surprised if the Dodgers didn't win it. This year, I'd be surprised if they did win it.
I don't know.
I was
I
was surprised that they won.
No,
to be honest.
I think everyone was pretty down on them going into the playoffs.
I mean,
last
even-
I wasn't.
Even now, when I look back on it, I kind of feel like they kind of got away with it.
yeah, I mean, definitely against the Padres.
Right.
But it required. I will say, like, if this, because of how good the rotation now looks, and assuming the lineup continues to turn a corner, the bullpen being this bad is a real failure.
Right.
The fact that they are scrambling like this,
It's a front office failure. It's an
Correct.
Andrew Freeman failure. It's
because like Dave Roberts trying to explain why he continues to use Tanner Scott and Blake Trinan as he's been struggling, especially coming off these games in Baltimore. And his point is like, this is how these are the guys we have to
It
have.
was also it's so easy to avoid. It could have been all fixable in the trade deadline. We all wrote it. We all said it.
Yes, but like these are the guys we have. Like Edgardo Enriquez has been great. He's thrown the hell out of the ball. He's not our savior with 17 career innings. Jack Dreyer has had a really nice season. They haven't been using him in a lot of leverage spots for a reason, even though he did get a save in Baltimore on Sunday. And maybe if they eventually, if Tanner Scott's really continues to be this bad, and Kirby Yates and Michael Kopech, eventually they'll get to a place where they can go to those guys, but that feels just as fraught as this current group of
I guess
guys.
I'm just kind of, when I look at Scott and Yates, it's just been they've been so bad for so long now.
Well, and that's
I don't know. I don't know how they dig themselves out of these holes, I guess, right? Whereas whereas you might be able to catch lightning in a bottle.
Well, again, and that's why with Tanner Scott, at least, because Kirby Yates, he has not been able to consistently execute his best pitch in a splitter. That's a problem. Tanner Scott's stuff looks okay. He's just got to stop throwing fastballs down the middle in 2-strike counts. And I think he couldn't be reliable because he's not walking guys. He's throwing 99.
Keeps throwing
fastballs
down the middle. Then
I know. But that seems easier to fix than this guy can't throw his best pitch.
You know what they should have done? They should have signed Walker Buehler back.
I mean,
and used him for the ninth inning of the clincher.
He's in the super closer role.
Yeah, super closer role.
I don't think that was.
I mean, I think you look at.
No.
I mean, and we're talking about the rotation being good, right? But the guys that you can realistically expect real length from are Yamamoto and Glasnow, right? And I have other questions about Glasnow, right? But in terms of
I
just
don't know
even
if you can expect.
Oh, not expect.
consistently.
I guess you just even have the potential of actually giving you real length, right?
I mean, Snell
Snell is a five
can.
inning. Snell's a 5-inning guy.
But yeah,
Right, he's a 5-inning guy. He's going to give you 5 really
He
good
maybe
innings.
get you 6,
Right.
if he's on and is
Yeah.
aggressive. And he did talk last night about I got to be more aggressive, I got to be more efficient, which is
Well, I mean,
at least
we
is
can
a
always talk.
recognition.
Kevin
you
Cash told us what Snell was 4 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about whatever. I need to break more stories and win a Pulitzer.
But again, this gets back. This
I need to do Pulitzer caliber work. I mean,
Comparing Terrence Scott to $1 billion lottery ticket. Jack, what do you think about this? You saw there was a spate of foul balls going in the stands, and fans giving them to little kids, to little girls, fights in the stands over it. If you catch a foul ball, what do you do?
if I catch one in the press box.
No.
Oh,
in the
just
stands.
generally, yeah, give it to a kid.
yeah, dude, if you're a grown up,
This is not a controversy. This Phillies fan is just like a lunatic.
well, first of all, if you're an adult, just it shouldn't mean that much. You should have some life
You know
perspective.
how hard it is to catch a foul ball in a game? That's hard.
It doesn't, yeah, but it doesn't matter. You're gonna die anyway, dude. You can't take it with you. It's
I mean, it is. I will say,
no.
when I
it's-
caught the one the other week, I couldn't really, we're up in the press box. I can't give it to anyone.
Yeah,
It's
you
cool.
can.
Just
You
kind
know
of
what's fun
not
to do?
not at
You know
Angel
what?
Stadium.
You know what
it's
I
like
did?
30 feet. I'm gonna kill a kid if I drop it.
No, you hold it out, and then let the crowd gather beneath
No.
you, and then you drop
You
it
hurt
and
somebody.
let them
You can't-
and
you
let
can't
them
do it.
fight.
You really don't have joy in your life. This is your.
That
You hurt
that
somebody.
gave me a lot of joy when I saw people scrambling over a ball that I dropped.
The one thing you don't do,
Dylan's version of bore on the floor.
the one thing you never do is throw the ball back on the field. You ignore those fans and say, throw it back, throw it back.
That's yes.
I think it's cool.
I think it's terrible.
The home run
A
ball or foul
Yeah.
ball? The home run ball throwback.
No. Are you crazy? That's a souvenir. You take it and run with it.
What are you gonna do with it though? You caught it, you remember catching it,
That's the ultimate peer pressure.
I don't know,
That's
to-
the ultimate withering under peer
You know what
pressure.
it reminds me of? When you're somewhere and people instead of actually watching the game or the concert or whatever with their own eyes, have their phone out the whole time, oh, I need a whatever. Dude, if you were there and you experienced it,
If you catch a home run ball and throw it back, you're a wuss. Keep the ball.
There's a lot
Everybody's
of wusses
saying,
at Dodger
throw it back,
Stadium.
yeah,
throw
you're
back.
part of something bigger than you. You're part of
You're
at
letting
that
the-
point.
you're letting the peer
At that
pressure
point,
get to-
at that point, no, because at that point, you're almost part of the team.
No, you're part of the
You're
team.
creating this atmosphere.
You're
That's
part
told-
of the.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, people.
That's
No,
the Dodgers rule.
Okay.
all these fans are in there talking about we. You know,
They're saying throw it back. If any of those fans caught it, they take it. You got to keep a home run ball. That's too good of a souvenir.
I mean, the only
yeah,
one,
it's the biggest idiots ever to throw it back.
if it's an Ohtani home run ball, I would say go ahead, keep it. If it's your favorite player's home run ball, I say keep
If
it.
it's any player's home run ball, keep it.
You know? Maybe if Tanner
it's
Scott
not gonna
gave
be
up
your-
a home
it's
run
not gonna
and you
be-
want to keep like the thing.
There's a lot of those out there.
Right. Maybe you keep that, but
No, you don't give in that's giving in to peer pressure. That's collapsing under
I
the weight
really
of the-
don't like
of the
when they
peers.
throw the ball back on the field.
No,
I
absolutely
think
not.
that's cool.
It's also dangerous, by the way.
Well, don't throw it at a player, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's dangerous if you're like Puig, maybe. You really think you're gonna hurt somebody with your arm flash or mine?
You don't throw.
I'll be lucky to throw it back over the
Any
wall.
fan, listen to me. If you catch a home run ball, keep it. If the fans get on you and you can't take the pressure, leave the stadium. But don't throw it back. Don't
Throw it back.
Don't give in to them.
Throw it back.
Don't give in to them.
Throw it back. Be part of something bigger than yourself. Don't be
You
selfish
already-
like
you
Plaschke.
That's not selfish. That's a souvenir you got. You earned it. Keep it.
Most
It's-
likely,
it's-
you don't.
It's terrible. The pressure these people are under to give up a great
Again,
souvenir.
it's one thing if it's okay. If it's like, okay, let's say it's Aaron Judge hits a home run at Dodger Stadium, whatever. Okay, you can keep that. But like, let's be honest. Like baseball players, like nobody knows them outside of the market in which they play. The majority, right?
But you've got a
it's,
memory.
and if it's like some no-name guy, like whatever, like some guy in the Rockies, I'm sure he hit a right. There's you throw that back. You don't need that.
So instead of bringing the ball home and put it on your dresser and tell all your friends you caught a home run ball, you have a blind space on your dresser. You say, "This is where I gave in the peer pressure. I had a ball, but I gave it back.
No, you throw it
I had a
back.
ball, but I wussed out.
You throw it back, you get a bunch of high fives. I'm going to have to
A
rule
bunch
here.
of high fives means what is that worth?
The communal,
Yeah, again, you're part of
Shared
something bigger
Five
than
seconds.
yourself.
experience.
Baseball's forever.
maybe Plaschke
baseball's
doesn't have
forever.
joy in his life.
Yeah, I think
I can't believe y'all would throw it back.
I would totally throw it back.
You're such tribal going along with the crowd. Be an iconoclast.
I mean, that's kinda-
be your own man.
That's kind of part of going to like a baseball game. I
Be
mean,
your own man.
look, I honestly don't even care who wins, so I would probably just give it to a kid.
Be your own man. Say screw you. I'm holding on to this.
No, you got to discard things that are unnecessary.
A home run ball is not unnecessary.
It's completely
I can't
unnecessary.
believe you guys are such wusses. Are you afraid somebody's going to hit you? Are you afraid you're going to get beat up in the parking lot?
No,
If
it's
you're
just a
fan-
baseball. Like,
if
what, I
you're-
don't need a
If you're
baseball.
a fan and Tanner Scott has just given up a moon rocket that you've caught, and you're a Dodger fan, I don't want this ball. Like, get it away from me. Throw
I've
it
got
back.
a home run ball that I called. I can tell everybody I called. I can put it on my dresser to keep forever. I'm getting the hell home. I'm going home with it. I put it in my pocket.
If you want to
getting out
keep
of
the
there.
ball, go sit somewhere where you can catch a foul ball.
Oh, that's,
Or hope that the Dodgers hit you a home run.
you guys are
Flash,
so, you guys are so weak.
Flash, you're never. Stop pretending you would ever sit in the pavilion.
I've done it many
Flash,
times.
Flash is like what is it? What do they call those dugout club guys?
No, I don't. The food's not
He'd
ready.
be sitting there with his caviar, or the foul ball plops in his lap.
No, I love sitting out in the left field, right field pavilions. It's great.
All right, well, I'm glad we finally lived up to the name of the show today.
Yeah, boy.
End of debate.